Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Carter. Have you ever wondered why you eat a healthy breakfast every day, take your medication regularly, walk consistently, and try to avoid so many foods, yet your blood sugar still refuses to go down? The surprising thing is that sometimes the problem is not your body. Sometimes it is one breakfast choice you still believe is good for you. Today, I want to talk to you about eggs and diabetes because this is a very familiar food that may be sitting in your refrigerator right now. If used the wrong way, eggs can be paired with foods that send your blood sugar soaring. But if used correctly, eggs can become one of the simplest and most powerful tools to help you control your blood sugar better. Many people with diabetes are afraid to eat eggs because they worry about cholesterol. So they replace eggs with white bread, boxed cereal, instant oatmeal, orange juice, or overly ripe fruit. It sounds healthy, but in reality, that kind of breakfast can contain too many fast-absorbing carbohydrates and not enough protein to slow sugar from entering the bloodstream. When you have diabetes, your body already has trouble processing glucose. So the key is not only how much you eat, but what you combine together, how you prepare it, and even the order in which you eat it. High-quality protein works like a natural brake. When you eat protein with carbohydrates, sugar from those carbohydrates enters your blood more slowly, reducing the risk of a sharp spike after meals. Eggs are a complete, affordable, easy-to-prepare protein source, and by themselves they have almost no effect on blood sugar. Two eggs provide about 12 grams of high-quality protein along with many important nutrients. The glycemic index of eggs is essentially zero. The real problem is not the egg. The problem is the oil, white bread, sausage, deli meats, fruit juice, and refined carbohydrates that often come with it. I once met a patient named Linda Walker, a 63-year-old woman who had lived with type 2 diabetes for more than 7 years. She came into my office looking exhausted, carrying a thick folder of lab results. She said, "Dr. Carter, I've done everything. I stopped eating eggs almost 2 years ago because I was afraid of cholesterol. I eat instant oatmeal with banana, a little honey, and a glass of fresh orange juice every morning. I take my medication, I walk every week, but my fasting blood sugar is still usually between 158 and 176, and my A1C is 8.3%. I truly don't know what I'm doing wrong." When I heard her describe her breakfast, I understood the problem immediately. That meal contained too much rapidly absorbed sugar and not enough protein to slow it down. After breakfast, her blood sugar could rise above 210 within a short time. By mid-morning, she felt hungry again and started craving snacks because her body was not staying satisfied. I explained to Linda that her fear of eggs came from outdated information. For most adults, dietary cholesterol is not the main factor driving blood cholesterol as strongly as people once believed. Bigger concerns often include refined sugar, trans fats, ultra-processed foods, and lack of movement. I did not ask her to follow an extreme diet. I simply suggested replacing her old breakfast with 2 boiled eggs or oil-free scrambled eggs, served with leafy vegetables, tomatoes, and half an avocado. 2 weeks later, she called me with a completely different voice. "Doctor, my blood sugar after breakfast is around 138 to 145, not over 200 anymore." After 1 month, her fasting blood sugar dropped from around 166 to about 143. After 3 months, her A1C went from 8.3% down to 7.6%. What touched me most was when she said, "For the first time in years, I'm no longer afraid of breakfast." Now, what you need to remember is that eating eggs is not automatically helpful. You must eat them the right way. For most people with diabetes who do not have severe kidney disease or a specific restriction from their doctor, 2 to 3 whole eggs a day may be appropriate and beneficial. But eat the whole egg, not just the whites. The yolk contains choline, which supports fat metabolism in the liver, vitamin D, which is linked to insulin sensitivity, lutein and zeaxanthin, which help protect the eyes, and several B vitamins that support the nervous system. People with diabetes need to pay special attention to their eyes, liver, nerves, and metabolism. So the yolk is not something you should automatically throw away. What usually destroys the benefits of eggs is the way they are prepared. If you fry eggs in a lot of oil, add too much butter, and eat them with white bread, tortillas, sausage, ham, or processed cheese, that meal can put pressure on both blood sugar and cholesterol. A better method is to boil eggs, steam them, or scramble them in a non-stick pan without oil. For scrambled eggs, lightly beat 2 eggs, pour them into a warm pan over medium heat, and stir slowly for 2 to 3 minutes until softly cooked. For boiled eggs, place them in cold water, bring the water to a boil, and cook for about 8 to 10 minutes depending on how firm you like the yolk. You can also make an omelet with spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, broccoli, or any low-starch vegetables you enjoy. Vegetables provide fiber, help slow sugar absorption, and keep you full without adding many carbohydrates. An ideal breakfast could be 2 boiled eggs, half an avocado, a large serving of greens, and a few slices of tomato. If you truly need starch, choose 1 small slice of real whole grain bread, the kind that is dense and has visible seeds, not soft white bread pretending to be healthy, and eat the eggs and vegetables first, then the starch afterward. This order matters because protein and fiber begin slowing digestion before the carbohydrates arrive. I also once treated another patient named Robert Miller, age 59. He ate 2 eggs every morning, but his blood sugar remained high. When I asked for details, I discovered that he fried the eggs in oil and ate them with fatty refried beans and 3 corn tortillas. He thought he was eating well because he included eggs and beans, both sources of protein. But the combination of too much oil, fat, and starch was causing strong glucose spikes. I asked him to make a simple change. Replace fried eggs with boiled or oil-free scrambled eggs. Replace refried beans with whole beans prepared with less fat. Reduce the tortillas from 3 to 1 and add more vegetables. 3 weeks later, his morning blood sugar dropped from around 178 to between 148 and 156. After 4 months, his A1C fell from 8.5% to 7.8%. He said something very simple. I didn't change my whole life. I only changed the way I ate my eggs. Eggs can also be useful at dinner. Many people eat rice, noodles, bread, or potatoes at night and then wake up with high fasting blood sugar the next morning. Part of the reason is that the liver continues releasing glucose overnight. When dinner is lighter, higher in protein, and lower in refined carbohydrates, morning blood sugar can improve for some people. A vegetable omelet without bread, white rice, or juice can be a simple dinner option. However, there are several mistakes you should avoid. First, do not assume that frying eggs in olive oil is completely harmless. Olive oil can be a good fat when used in moderation, especially cold on salads, but heating a lot of it for frying still adds unnecessary calories and fat. Second, do not drink orange juice with your eggs and assume it is healthy. For someone with diabetes, even fresh fruit juice is liquid sugar without fiber. Eating a whole orange is much better than drinking the juice. Third, avoid combining eggs with sausage, deli meats, bacon, and processed cheese because these foods often contain too much sodium, additives, and unhealthy fats. If you want cheese, use a small amount of fresh cheese or cottage cheese. If you take metformin, eggs generally do not interfere with your medication. But if you take insulin or medication that can lower blood sugar, speak with your doctor when changing your breakfast to one that is lower in carbohydrates and higher in protein, because your numbers may improve more than expected and your medication may need adjustment. Do not stop, reduce, or change medication on your own because of a video or online advice. Every person has different kidney function, heart health, weight, medications, and blood sugar goals. As for egg quality, organic or pasture-raised eggs may contain more omega-3s and vitamin D. But if you cannot afford or find them, regular supermarket eggs are still nutritious. Do not avoid eggs just because you cannot buy the most expensive kind. What matters more is preparing them correctly and pairing them wisely. Remember this clearly. Eggs are not the enemy of people with diabetes. The enemy may be how you fry them, what you eat with them, and the wrong information that made you fear a food that could actually help you. When you eat eggs with vegetables, avocado, a small amount of whole grain starch if needed, and avoid excess oil and processed meats, you give your body a more stable meal. Diabetes control does not always begin with something complicated. Sometimes it begins by looking at your usual breakfast and correcting one small but important detail. This content is for health education only and does not replace personal medical advice. Always speak with your doctor before changing your diet or treatment, especially if you take blood sugar lowering medication. Tomorrow, when you open your refrigerator and see those eggs, I want you to see them not with fear, but with understanding. Your body may respond better when you give it the right strategy. You do not have to change everything at once. Start with a better, more stable breakfast that is kinder to your blood sugar.